Sauce.
Shoutouts, collabs, getting reacted to, or maybe simply having your favorite streamer read your name out loud. All things many different people want, but aspiring full-time creators really strive for. But nothing beats the cosign. Now, I'm about to show you a clip I saw from Adam22's podcast featuring rising creators Sauce, Kill, Geo, and Owen.
Best cosign you can get as an up-and-coming underground dude.
Bruce? Probably.
I feel like that's bigger than Max.
No. Bruce or Max.
And honestly, the clip got me kind of interested. How much does a cosign truly matter within the realm of streaming? Now, first of all, I have to define what counts as a cosign because I feel like not every type of shoutout falls under this category. Like, for example, I think raids can be, but aren't always. And like, as much as I would jump up and down if it happened to me personally, having someone react to your video or like your clip, it's also just not a cosign. Because I mean, you know, your clip could have just floated its way towards them and they just happen to see it. For example, one of my favorite underground streamers is like Jaden Violet, right? And he had Blackboy Max react to his music video. And Max literally sat there, got mad he wasn't a girl, and then moved on.
Wait, this a girl? Hey, look, I need to have at least one girl in the label. Wait, hold on. I know Nav ain't just come up the steps. It's him and not the girl. I'm not gonna lie. Jaden, I'm about to break my desk.
That right there, it is an example of a bad, like that's not even a cosign. I can't say that's bad cosign, that's just not a cosign in general. And the other thing I was gonna talk about is collabs, but that's something very important that I'm going to save till later. And yeah, I'm kind of choosing to withhold that information because I'm the fucking YouTuber here and I can do what I want. And this is my fucking channel, bud. This is my channel. But generally, I think of a cosign, and I think quite a few music heads would kind of agree with me. It's more based on like showing that you think someone's product is good and that you support it and you're like actively trying to push people towards it. And now to make sure that I wasn't going crazy, I went and I looked up like the overall idea of a cosign as it has been in hip hop to make sure I wasn't just like making shit up. And like, yeah, I found that this pretty much aligns exactly with how it's been since the dawn of music. Even Billboard saying that a big artist just liking a smaller artist's post is like lazy as fuck and does not count as a cosign. That's why I think all shoutouts do not count as a cosign. Now there's one big question that we have to start out my first point here with, and that is, why do so many creators chase this? Get it? Like, why? Big question, because it's big. Yeah, I'm done with the whiteboard, actually. I mean, yeah, I'm done. I'm off. And I think the main reason so many creators think it's so important is because many see it as like an important step for success for themselves. I mean, I have literally seen people on TikTok post more about trying to get collabs with streamers, like posting things like day 1 million billion of asking this guy for a collab, instead of posting any somewhat meaningful or valuable content. It isn't uncommon for smaller streamers to believe that a collab or shoutout is like the one thing they truly need to finally just like achieve their dreams. Like the idea that you just have the talent but lack the exposure. And for some people that actually could be true, but it isn't always the case. There are two groups of people that I want to talk about in the streamer space that are connected with some of the biggest in the industry. And I want to talk about these people first. Batty Hub was a collective of a few of Blackboy Max's closest friends, and they appeared on his streams quite a few times, especially during his come up. During different segments like Song Wars, the story times, and just like other Discord segments, because they were extremely entertaining. But I want to say honestly, the most interesting part is how loved by Blackboy Max's like large and growing community at the time they were, and how little it mattered for their content creation. And I swear I'm not like a schizophrenic fan making all this shit up. This is something that somebody previously associated with them in the group actually commented on. This is something that already has been put in the air. Granted, the way he went about making the comment was in really bad taste, but listen, I'm not here to tear anybody down. I just want to make that very clear. The guys that I'm talking about in this video may not value streaming in, you know, the same way that I'm thinking about it. However, in the context of what I'm talking about, it is simply just an accurate example. And I'll take Gauze and Wayne out of this group to show exactly what I'm talking about. They both started streaming around the same time, being in December 2022 as well as January 2023, and they got a large boost in attention through Max. But Gauze specifically got a much bigger audience out of this break than Wayne did. And honestly, it would be in poor taste of me and poor taste of this video if I were to dive into why that could be and the factors that there are. So I'm not going to do that because that would just be weird and actually parasocial. All that matters for our conversation specifically is the fact that just because you are given such a platform or given the same opportunity as the next man or woman that is, doesn't mean you guys will get the same outcome or benefits. It won't always turn out like you think it will in your head, and honestly, there are tons of uncontrollable factors that cause people to either care or not care about checking you out after a person they watch suggests your content. I mean, these guys literally had thousands and thousands of people spamming the chat or thinking they're funny, but you know, not even 30% of them will actually show up to watch any of their streams. It is literally living proof. Even though Max put them in front of a massive audience, you know, shouted them out, may have gave them some raids here and there, you know, it's just, you can't do anything about whether or not your supporters actually go and show love. Now, that was truly just the first piece of the pie, being the fact that a cosign does not mean everything and cannot just spawn you a career. It does not work like that. Now, I put that at the start of the video mainly because I'm tired of seeing people beg and beg and beg for shoutouts and collabs and shit on TikTok. So hopefully this video goes big and those people can stop annoying my fucking timeline. And just to be clear, these guys weren't chasing a cosign at all from Max. They were just friends. But it goes to show that, you know, even being put in front of an audience like that doesn't always, you know, mean the outcome that you would think. And, you know, that's the reality check. Like I was talking about, people love to chase this idea of a cosign or whatever, or just being associated with one of the biggest streamers in the space. But then you look at these guys like Batty Hub and, you know, tons of people are like, wow, these guys have the dream scenario. You know what I mean? They have an actual bond and they can get constant engagement from Plagueboy Max's giant community. But that just doesn't directly translate into, you know, a viewership, into an audience. But there are some things within the control of the creator. Number one, effort, work, you know, showing up, shit like that. That is one of the biggest problems that a lot of content creators have when they get a big break. Usually when people get very lucky and they get like a big video, a viral TikTok, you know, a shout out, a raid, something, right? When they get a very quick boost of engagement, a lot of creators are just simply unprepared to follow up. And don't worry, I've been there multiple times, which is why I don't exactly go out and look to get collaborations, because I'm like, damn, I probably need to lock in a little harder before I go and get that. I feel like a kid named I Love Zim is actually a very, very massive, like, example of this. Actually, I feel like a lot of the quote-unquote Jinxie verse is an example of this. The Jinxie verse being large streamer Jinxie, when he used to play Rainbow Six Siege all day, every day on stream, he kind of created this universe for himself of characters where he had just tons of different personalities, tons of different people. Some of them made content, some of them didn't. But, you know, a few of the ones who did weren't, I feel like they just weren't ready to get that massive boost that fast. I Love Zim, I feel like it's the epitome of this. I mean, this kid was, I mean, he's funny, but he ended up getting banned off Twitch multiple fucking times. Literally because I Love Zim couldn't hold his tongue. He just kept getting banned for the sake of making jokes, you know what I mean? And honestly, was it worth it? That's up to him to decide. I don't know. I don't really care. But I mean, Zim has expressed, I think, in one of his videos that, you know, getting banned kind of sucked. And I mean, he showed that he made 20K off of Twitch in the time that he was streaming. And, you know, he did say he wishes he took it more serious. He just didn't understand the opportunity that he had.
And take it more serious. Like, I know how to be content without being TOS. And I feel like I was toting the line too much.
And, you know, it's fair enough. 20K a month, life-changing money. Now, I've been mainly focusing on the bottom ends of what it could look like to have a cosign and, you know, your career not go to the next level. But there is one very massive example that everybody here will know, and that is Cosigns. Now, when Cosigns was first starting out, he was doing a lot of skits and mainly YouTube videos, not really focused on streaming yet. And, you know, he had a bit of a buzz by himself. I mean, I can't believe I look back on that one little Uzi Cosigns skit, and I sit here, I'm like, wow, I remember when this first came out, and I just had no idea who made this. There's been multiple times Kai has talked about how Phantom was one of the first people to ever give him a chance and kind of give him a platform. Even though Phantom was bigger than Kai at the time, he saw, you know, his energy, saw that he genuinely liked this content, and decided to give him a platform. And because of that chance, he eventually joined AMP, and the rest is history. Now, here's what I think makes a cosign actually important. And I don't think it's the instant boost of viewers, the instant gratification of it all. No, I don't think it's any of that. Let's say I see a streamer 1 or 2 times just scrolling on TikTok or Twitter or something like that, and I just blow past them. I'm like, okay, mediocre video or okay video, I don't care to go find more. Sure, scroll past, right? But then let's say next day, you see your favorite streamer say that same guy you scrolled away from is insanely funny and has great content. Then I'm going to go back and double check and be like, oh wait, this guy is kind of funny. This guy is that. You know, people are more apt to giving you a chance. Honestly, because Twitch and like live streaming is such like a small like bubble and community, it honestly kind of gives you a bit of authority in the space as well. You're no longer just the guy that had a couple big clips. You're the guy that your Raid shouted out. You're the guy that Kai shouted out. You're the guy that Bruce shouted out. You're BYK. All right. And while you don't want to be stuck in that like kind of side character position, it is good to have people just like hesitate when they see you. Now, originally, I was going to talk about how this helps you climb like the massive social ladder that is Twitch, which is why I also think it is extremely important just to get your face out there across as many platforms and as many videos as you can, because the more people see your face, the more inclined they are to just stop and see what you're doing. But I'm actually going to save that for like another video. I think it is important to ask yourself, if you do anything creative, then I think you should step back and ask, if a giant door opened for you tomorrow, would you be ready for whatever's on the other side of it? Truly. Anyway, I don't really have too much else to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video off. Like, sub, do everything else, obviously. Follow the Twitch. I'll see you in the next one.